Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Before we talk about the topic, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Putu Bagus Suryawan Arijaya, and my partner is,
Putu Arvan Setiawan.
and we are from Ganesha University of Education. We are so glad that you can watch our video presentation today about the impact of COVID-19 in the education sector. This topic is very important for us as a future teacher candidates that will teach how to do the learning process after COVID-19. And this presentation will be divided into 3 points. The first point is about the effect of COVID-19 in education sector. Second, education learning during school closure. And third, strategy after pandemic in education sector. And now, what is the effect of COVID-19 in education sector? COVID-19 pandemic has affected all the sector in the world, and education is no exception. Students from privileged backgrounds supported by their parents and eager will be able to learn. They could find their way past closed school doors to alternative learning opportunities. Those from disadvantaged backgrounds often remain shut out when their schools shut down. This crisis has exposed the many inadequacies and inequities in our education system, from access to the smartphone and computers needed for online education. The supportive environments also needed to focus on learning, up to the misalignment between resource and needs. And from this slide, we can know the loss of instructional time delivered in a school setting. On February 2020, China was the first to close schools, with other countries shortly following. On March 2020, by the end of March, all 46 countries had closed some or all of their schools. On June 2020, by the end of June, the duration of school closure ranged from 7 to 90 weeks across the globe. And now, let us see what is the effect of COVID-19 to education system in Indonesia. First, schools and universities are closed. Second, students are not allowed to go to school. And third, students study from home. Only 6% or 85 cities are allowed to do face-to-face learning throughout Indonesia. The remaining 94% or 429 other regions still do not allow face-to-face schools because it is included in the yellow, orange, and red zone. And this data was uploaded at 16 June 2020 in Voi News. When the time goes, the cities that allowed face-to-face learning will decrease because the increase of COVID-19 infection in Indonesia. And as Nadine said, however, once there are additional cases or the level of regional risk increase, the education unit must be closed again. In areas with green zone status, the learning is transitional period for the first 2 months. If the learning condition is still declared, say from the spread of COVID-19, the face-to-face learning will continue. Because of this pandemic, face-to-face is not allowed. Because of that, to measure continuous students learning during school closure, in Indonesia, the learning system is using online learning and the tools that use include educational content for exploring if desired, like PowerPoint and material from teacher that given to the students. And second, real-time lesson on virtual meeting platforms. This can be like using Google Meet, Zoom, and Webex. And third is online support service for parents and students. This can help parents to teach their kids because they will guide by the teacher from the school. And because of the online learning method, students and teacher will be affected. The use of ICT is very important in the online learning. From this data, we know that teachers have reported high need for training in the use of information and communication technologies known as ICT. 60% of teachers receive professional development in ICT, and 18% reported a higher need for development, and this data is from Thales survey. Teachers need to know or learn about the use of ICT to make the learning process success. That's all for my presentation part. The next presentation will be continued by my partner Arvan.
Okay, thank you, Bagus, for your explanation. Now I will continue our presentation. In my presentation, I want to present my material about strategies after pandemic in education. And I will divide my point into three sections. The first one is determine what pedagogy to apply. There are two main elements when the general education model is to be implemented. The first is related to the content, and secondly, it relates to how the content will be conveyed to students. The combination of both will determine what pedagogy an educator will adopt. After this pandemic ends, educators must pay attention to the condition of online-based student learning. And educators will also lose their position as the center of attention, especially the center of knowledge, because previously students used to search for and get information on the internet, and this will refer to student or student centers. And the next point is educators should use technology-based learning, because during COVID-19 pandemic, students were focused on using a variety of technology media to help the learning process continue to be carried out well and smoothly, and with that, students could learn how to use technology well in the learning process. Because technology is very useful for student skills in the future or time where technology is very much used. It's better if after the COVID pandemic ends, it is hoped that learning after pandemic will continue to use technology, for example, by using applications that support learning activities such as using Google Classroom as a place to make easier for student and teacher in the process of collecting assignment and also the material to be delivered. Second one is you can use Google Form to help learning activities such as helping to record student and teacher attendance, and can provide quizzes, daily assessment and others through Google Form. And my last point is carry out learning process in a safe, comfortable and clean. To keep the classroom atmosphere safe, comfortable and clean, learning is recommended to follow some of the rules applied in the implementation of the COVID-19 pandemic, even though this pandemic is over, because there will be concern that if students and teachers are not clean, the possibility of disease can be spread again. Things that can be done, such as washing hands thoroughly, and next, if student and teacher have flu or disease that can spread through breathing, they should use masks. And the last one is carry out joint cleaning activities in the school area so that the school atmosphere becomes safe, comfortable and clean. And the last presentation, I want to conclude our material. And I can conclude that COVID-19 is a pandemic that we can control. As a result, we need to follow and match the situation that happened to our activity keeps running. And there are three strategies that can imply after the pandemic of COVID-19. First, determine what pedagogy to apply. Next is educators should use technology-based learning. And the last one is the thing that can keep the classroom atmosphere safe, comfortable, and clean. Okay, that's all about our presentation. I hope you enjoy, and Thank you for your attention.